Welcome back, this is Dreddeus with another episode in the LA Rams franchise. We're picking up directly where we left off last time. We lost against the Carolina Panthers and we will be heading into off-season now. I will be handling all of off-season in this episode. This might be a bit longer than usual because we're going to be taking care of everything, of staff, of player negotiations, of free trades, free agency trades, and of course the draft as well. And then we'll be moving onwards past preseason and into the first week of the new season. So a lot to cover. Let's get started straight away. But before we do that, I wanted to do a quick recap of the game last week because something struck me when I looked at the stats here, and you can see that the offensive yards gained were 248 for us, 106 versus 27, 142 versus 110, 15 offensive first downs versus 5, 27 punt return yards, 275 yards total gained. Gonna be moving across this, coming back later. Third down conversions 5, fourth down conversions 1, red zone offensive percentage 100. So we really had a good game. We really had a very good game. Two things were worse for us, and also look at the time of possession. We were in control of the game completely, but we had 20 penalty yards, and it was each time 10 yards back after an offensive holding offense, and yeah, that pushed us back. We couldn't cross it, cover the distance, had to lean more towards a risky approach, and that cost us. And the second thing was the 6 turnovers, of course, absolutely terrible. But the rest of the stats really make me quite hopeful, because we weren't the worst team. We simply were the less mature team. We made mistakes. Our quarterback made mistakes. Our offensive line made mistakes. Defense was actually quite solid. So yeah, can't really fault anybody there. Just wanted to show you that. Now we're going to be heading onwards towards off-season directly. Let's do a quick season recap now of the 2022 season. The Dallas Cowboys beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and yeah, quite clear cut, you might say, but it's actually only a touchdown in that without the extra points. Super Bowl MVP was DeMarcus Lawrence, left edge for the Cowboys. Overall NFL MVP was Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback. Coach of the Year Mike McCarthy for the Cowboys, obviously winning the Super Bowl. Halfback Dalvin Cook was the Player of the Year for the Vikings. The defensive player was Khalil Mack for the Chargers. Yeah, we felt that one. Offensive Rookie of the Year was CJ Stroud for the Panthers. And Defensive Rookie of the Year for the Browns was Brian Breece. Let's upgrade the players before we see who we want to re-sign, because I want to see the full potential of the players before deciding their fate. All right, we're adding deep threat for Khalil Shakir. Freddie Swain, another one of our wide receivers in the practice squad, will get deep threat as well. Jalen Ramsey, we've got 3 points to spend. That's a lot. Going to be putting that into man-to-man. Next up. All right. Couldn't put the other points in there anymore. Man-to-man, of course, for Darian Kendrick. And we will simply be continuing to pile that into there, as the 2022 draft rookie will be going up to 70 at the age of 24. Very good physical stats. The rest maybe not so much. All right, let's keep improving here. What about Colin Newell? We're going to put that into agile. He's also a rookie. Nope, not a rookie. Not quite sure where we got him from. He was in the practice squad all day, every day. But we are improving him quite a bit here. Strength, pass block, power awareness. The block secondary attributes looking nice. Corey Durden gets an upgrade to run stopper. Our number 98. And let's give him another one. He's now in the 70s, but that's with a temporary boost, mind you. Bo Nix also be getting quite a few upgrades now. Gonna be putting that into Scrambler. Still have to decide who the backup QB will be. We do have options, and that is always nice. Christian Watson, a wide receiver, will also be getting an upgrade here. We will be putting that into Route Runner, making him a natural 71. Another one into Route Runner. He can use those. Robert Rochelle, corner. Number 2, also in the practice squad, gets upgrades towards man-to-man. Alright, overview, 24 years old. Okay, Cam Akers also gets an upgrade. My favorite player of this season. Let's just take a quick look at the stats here. 1,500 rushing yards. Improving his average each year. Touchdowns, 9. Rushing average per game, almost 20 more yards in comparison to last season, and 0 fumbles. Yeah, well done. Really very happy with him. Jordan Morant also gets quite a few upgrades now. Strong safety. Gonna be putting those into run support because we want to get him up to scheme fit as quickly as possible. And one more. Alright, he's now a 67, 18 players to handle. Wow. Okay, let's see. Tyquan Thornton, Kyren Williams, Brian Cook, Zach Tom, Matthew Stafford, Darrell Henderson, David Edwards, Taylor Rapp, Greg Gaines, David Long Jr., Justin Hollins, Brian Allen. Alright, that's quite a few players that we need to take care of. Okay, let's start out with the easy ones. One of those is Tyquan Thornton. I really think that he had a great season. He was very good, and I really want to hold on to him. That salary is okay for me. Let's hand him a 5-year deal. Alright, Tyquan Thornton, lockdown. Kyren Williams, next up. He's my backup halfback. He's 23 years old, and I think that he's also a good prospect to hold on to. So there we go. All right, let's go with that. Brian Cook, free safety. Let's take a look over here. Zach Tom, Matt Stafford. All right, Darrell Henderson. I want to hold on to Darrell Henderson. He really played well. I think a 3-year deal should be okay. And we're going to hand him exactly what he's asking for. Okay, that's interesting. So this is good that we re-signed Kyren Williams. Let's see, maybe we can get him back in free agency, but we don't really need him because we've got actually pretty good halfback core. David Edwards is my starter, and he's 26. So I think I'm going to be locking him down. But that salary, ooh, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. What about Taylor Rapp? He's my backup free safety. And that is actually not very expensive. He's versatile, so we can use him for a lot of things. Okay, so we've got him locked down. What about Greg Gaines? He's one of those players that I'm really on the fence about. He's a solid defensive tackle, but we might have better options there, and we really need to look at the cap here. All right, what about David Long Jr.? Let's give him a long-term deal, 5 years. He's a very good corner. And my corner number 2, Justin Hollins, left outside linebacker. Ooh, that's a lot of money. He's asking for cap hits, 7 mil. That's actually too much. Too much for the moment. What about Brian Allen? if we don't sign David Edwards, who's too expensive for me, then we could use Brian Allen at that position. He showed us that he can do that, and with 3-year deal should actually be okay. All right, well done. We've signed Brian Allen, and we're going to convert him to a left guard later on. Joseph Noteboom. What about him? Cap it 5 mil. It doesn't matter. No, that's too expensive for a backup. Quentin Lake. I've got Milton Williams here. Antoine Brooks, Russ Yeast, Daniel Hardy. Daniel Hardy, I'm gonna let go. Russ Yeast, I'm gonna hold on to. I think that he still has something to offer, and he's not that expensive. 2 mil is the cap hit for this season. Next up, Antoine Brooks. Also think that he's a good backup here. 5 years, almost 2 mil the cap hit. All right, that's good. What about Milton Williams? 4.55, 4 mil. Oh, that's actually a lot. Gonna be reducing his bonus here. Take it or leave it. Okay, he leaves that. What about Quentin Lake? Free safety. We do have options here, but I think that he would be a good addition. And we're going to be giving him a 5-year deal. He's not expensive. At the least. Joseph Noteboom, no. Justin Hollins, too expensive. Greg Gaines, what do we do with him? 6.3 is just too much. No, we're not going to be re-signing him. Dave Edwards, let's see. 9 million. Come on, man. Come on. I mean, that's not realistic. All right, we're going to let him go. Matt Stafford. Yeah, as I said, we're not going to be doing anything with him. We will be re-signing Sackton because I'll give him a 5-year deal, and that is going to be pushing his costs down quite a bit. And Brian Cook, finally, I also think that he's a good prospect. Not expensive. And the strong safety and free safety core can use that experience. Okay, so we re-signed Tyquan Thornton, we re-signed Karen Williams, Brian Cook, we re-signed Zach Tom. No offers for Matt Stafford, no offer for Darrell Henderson, who didn't want to accept our offer, and I'm not going to be franchise tagging him because he's simply not that important. David Edwards is also a player that I will be not giving a new offer for. Taylor Rapp re-signed, Greg Gaines no offer, David Long re-signed, Justin Hollins no offer, Brian Allen re-signed, Joseph Noteboom no offer, Quentin Lake re-signed, Milton Williams didn't accept, Antoine Brooks, Russ Yeast will receive new offers, and finally Daniel Hardy we will be letting go. Okay, that's that. Well done, handled all of the player contracts. I feel like we might be able to really improve the squad via some trades as well. At quarterback, we will be going with Skylar Thompson. I think it's a good choice. Maybe we could be saving some money on him. Could we save some money? No, but we could trade him. We could use him as trade material. He's a solid quarterback, I would say. And we've got Bo Nix as a backup. Tua is going up is an 80 now. So a solid quarterback at that. The halfback core. Okay, we need to do something here. We've got Breece Hall. Wide receiver, we've got a load of guys in here. Hard choices. I'm going to be putting Isaiah Spiller back as a halfback. Okay, so we've got Isaiah Spiller in here again, 70 overall, 23 years, Karen Williams. That is a good and young halfback room. Super happy with my fullback, that's Breece Hall. What about the wide receivers? I've got Cooper Kupp in here. We're going to be holding on to him, of course. He's still a superstar X Factor. What about Odell Beckham Jr. though? He's a great player and I really feel quite affectionate about him. But taking a look at his contract, What about his contract? Quite hefty, actually. 9 mil, 10 mil, 11 mil over the next few years. We could try and bring in a younger wide receiver with a lower cap hit. Van Jefferson, of course, we're going to keep you. Tyquan Thornton, we re-signed. Tutu Atwell, Khalil Shakir, Freddie Swain, Dalla Robinson, Christian Watson. Pretty happy with all of those. I really feel like Tyquan Thornton could make the next step now in his career. But Odell Beckham is one of those players that I think I'm going to be letting go. What about here? We've got Jonah Williams. We're holding on to him. Left guard, Will Lampkin. Center. All right, this is where it gets interesting. We're going to be putting Brian Allen onto left guard. All right, we put Brian Allen on left guard. This means that he will be my starter, and behind him I've got Will Lampkin, who's a quicker player, but not quite there in some of the other attributes. But as soon as Will Lampkin gets good enough, he's going to start. Brian Allen is going to be the backup. We still have a lot of centers available. We've got a good right guard situation going on here. What our right tackle? We've got Sam Cosmi and Darian Kennedy behind him. That works for me. Left edge. Okay, we need to do something here. I'm not that happy with a Sean Robinson. Let's see what we can do. All right, we have completed this deal. We are sending a Sean Robinson, our left edge, cornerback Grant Haley, and right tackle Darian Kinnard to the Chiefs, and we are receiving George Karlaftis, left edge, and that is a great deal for us, as I'm going to show you in a second. The left edge position has now been really upgraded. We've got a 22-year-old star def player with an 86 overall, superb attributes, and I think it was really worth the trade. We're also reducing cap space quite significantly, so that was a good move all around. Super happy with that. Next deal then, we're sending Bobby Wagner to the Chargers, and we're receiving Kenny Murray Jr., who is 5 overall points lower than Wagner, but he is a superstar def trade. Gonna show you that in a second. Right, this is a midline back room right now. We've got Kenneth Murray Jr. who's gonna be topping that. He is a fantastic player. Just look at those attributes. He's got no real weaknesses, strength and zone coverage. We're gonna be improving those, of course, but he's 24 years. He's got a superstar def trade, which means he will be improving super quick. And he's also a bit cheaper, of course, than Bobby Wagner. So now we've got Kenneth Murray and Ernest Jones, and then we've got Nick Bonito, and I think this is a very well set mid linebacker room. All right, another deal done. We are sending left outside linebacker Leonard Floyd, a bit with a heavy heart, but it had to be. And a quarterback backup Skylar Thompson to the Eagles. We're receiving Noah Sewell, rookie from the 2023 draft. Gonna show you the player in a second. This is a further reduction of our salary cap, and it brings in a young player at a position that is direly needed. Noah Sewell, 23 years old, out of Oregon. He's got a star def trait, and yeah, number 12 ranked left outside linebacker at the moment. He will only get better. He's already a bit higher ranked than Floyd was, so that is a gain, of course. Really looking forward to build on this. He's going to be the starting left outside linebacker. We're going to be adding some backups behind him. All right, in the first round of free agents and negotiations, we will be handing out 5 contract offers. Very selective here. The first one is just for the heck of it, because Lamar Jackson's in there. He's a free agent, and I think any team would be licking its fingers to get him. I handed him a super low offer, the minimum to get some points, 25 points, and yeah, let's just see what happens here. If we pick him up, then I'm happy. If not, then nothing has gone wrong. Kicker will be Tyler Bass. Wide receiver Justin Shorter. He just looks like an interesting player. 23 years old, star def trade, 74 overall. I think he could be a good addition to the wide receiver room. We've got Amari Barno as a backup for Anthony Hines, definite backup there, and Prince Tega Wanogo as a backup for Jonah Williams. All right, there we go. We've got 4 accepted contracts. Tyler Bass, Amari Barno, Jalen Georgia and Prince Tagovailoa have accepted the offers. This means that we have added quite a few players to our depth chart. We will be quite comfortable in regards to depth now. All right, we trade Robert Hunt, right guard, to the Lions. We receive Akers Jr., one player from the 2022 draft, as well as 2 7th round picks that we're handing to the Lions in addition to the trade. Looking at Emil Akers Jr., we can pretty quickly see that he's very, very good player, 22 years old, star def trait 80 overall. What I was looking for was a trait balanced penalty tendency on the left-hand side, and that is super important for me because those penalties that were happening all the time, those were really hurting us and our performance. I think that this is a good trade, a younger player, similar overall, who will be improving quite well. There we go, another deal done, sending cornerback Robert Rochelle to the Colts and receiving a 7th round pick, overall pick number 212, reducing player count. He was the last player in the depth chart in the cornerback room, and we simply have better players, and I just wanted to get a draft pick back. All right, another deal done. We're sending 2 wide receivers, Freddie Swain and Christian Watson, who we picked up from free agency actually, to the Bengals. We're receiving a 6th and 7th round pick, preparing for the draft. All right, we are sending Odell Beckham Jr. to the Saints. We are receiving a 4th round and a 5th round pick for this year's draft. We're clearing cap space on one hand side, and on the other hand side, let's be honest, Odell Beckham Jr. was regressing quite hard. He was a normal def trait, and he was down from 85 to 82, and yeah, not really in our plans for the future. All right, we are sending center Colin Newell to the Giants, as well as a 4th and 5th round pick. We're receiving a 3rd round pick for next year. 4th and 5th round are for next year as well. We are trying to get some trade material for a trade I've got lined up. All right, finally we get the trade done. We receive tight end Michael Mayer from the 2023 draft. I will show you the player in a second. We're sending 2 3rd round picks for next year's draft, as well as Tyler Higbee, to the Giants. This is our new starting tight end Michael Mayer from the 2023 draft, the Notre Dame product. He's got a superstar def trait, and he has fantastic core attributes. He's 22 years old, 83 overall, slightly lower, of course, in comparison to Tyler Higbee, but he's just a prospect for the future. Needed to get someone in that will improve quickly, and I think that he's just the man to do that. All right, we've got a big decision to make. 5th-year options now. Let's see. I've been looking through some of the player contracts, and I came across Tua Tagovailoa's name. He'll be due for an extension in about a year. Thought he played pretty well last season. You think he's worth keeping around long term? Yes, of course. Yes, please pick up the 5th-year option. Well done. You picked up Tua Tagovailoa's 5th-year option. This will postpone his contract negotiations for 1 year. All right. Another 5th-year option. There we go. Specifically, Kenneth Murray Jr. This time next year, he'll be asking for more money, and I'm hesitant to give it to him. Yeah, I know. There we go. We're gonna hand him the 5th-year option as well. let's take care of a quick draft recap. In typical Rams fashion, we have been drafting in the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round overall. We're drafting utility players, and we brought in David Schultz, right tackle rookie out of Oklahoma State, 61 overall, hidden depth trait. That is actually a good find in the 4th round. And nothing more to be added to that. Next up, we've got Rashard Blackburn, a right outside linebacker. Those were 2 positions where we needed backup players because we only had starters. Next up, Russell Colvin, a 4th mid linebacker. For the mid linebacker room, he is a player that will develop there. Same goes for D-tackle Dion Baldwin, definitely far away from his starting position, but you know, he can be built upon. Left tackle Bo Samuels was actually a 3rd round player from the progression, and we drafted him in the 6th round, so pretty happy with that. Riley Barnett, low ranked center, but again, just a player to bolster that room a little bit. He'll be going straight to the practice squad, not too crazy about those. Ethan Cook, quarterback, good throw power, throw in the run as well, and moderately agile, but a long way to develop, of course. Casey Howard, cornerback, 62 overall, good speed, acceleration, agility, and jumping. Everything else, of course, needs to be improved quite badly. Desmond Fairley, a tight end, 62 overall. There we go. And finally, Devonta Stewart, 61 overall, rookie from Florida State. I'm not going into too much detail on these. You can always pause the video if you're really interested. But yeah, we have a complete roster, to be honest, and we just needed a little bit more depth, players for the practice squad. And as the Rams do, yeah, maybe 1 or 2 of these will turn out to be good draft picks. So then, yeah, we will be continuing and keeping them, of course. Preseason week 3, we do have 2 things that are happening. We've got a press conference camp standout and a wide receiver mentorship message. So let's go straight ahead. Coach Terrible Jess had a strong camp and has continued to build. Safety Terrible Jess has received +5 zone coverage. That is nice. Next up, we're going to view a message wide receiver mentorship. Cooper Kupp. I've been impressed with Tutu Atwell. Dude has all the tools. He needs to be a top receiver one day, and I think I might be able to help. That's nice. Alright, let's take care of player upgrades now. Justin Shorter gets an upgrade. We're going to put that into deep threat. There we go. Next up, Tyquan Thornton, +1 deep threat. Let's get our players dangerous on the deep runs. Quentin Lake, free safety, gets an upgrade towards zone coverage. Next up, Tyler Batty. We've got a lot of these to cover now. We're getting an upgrade. There we go. Next up, Ryan Cook, zone upgrade. Acceleration, agility, tackle, zone coverage. Bryson Hopkins gets an upgrade. Possession, meaning he will be more solid when running with the ball. Darian Kendrick gets an upgrade towards man-to-man. 31 overall now. Ondale Robinson gets an upgrade towards route runner. Scheme fit is not too far away. There we go. Khalil Shakir, our newly named tight end. Gonna be putting a little bit more into possession now, just to make him ready for that task. Corey Durden, D-tackle backup. Run stopper. Bo Nix, our backup quarterback, gets an upgrade towards... Let's put that into improviser. There we go. David Schultz, right tackle. Agile. All right, Michael Meyer already improving towards possession. Oh my god. Look at all those upgrades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 upgrades. Wow. Kenneth Murray Jr. gets an upgrade. Our new midline backer, Phil General. Taylor Rapp gets an upgrade towards, gonna put that into man-to-man. He's playing corner now. Tua gets an upgrade into improviser, 79 already. That is great. Matter race, kick power of course. There we go. Noah Sewell gets an upgrade towards. What do we put that into? I think we're gonna be putting that into power rusher. Or let's put it into speed rusher. There we go. And I think that's something that we could use. Maurice Smith gets an upgrade towards agile. Super important for our center. Will Lampkin will get an upgrade towards agile as well. Well done. Finally, Breece Hall, our fullback, gets an upgrade towards utility. And he is the number one ranked fullback at the moment. That is great. Super happy with him. Alright, let's upgrade staff quickly. We've got quite a few points to spend here. Gonna put those into defensive areas, of course. So here we go. Upgrades for the cornerbacks. We're gonna be putting points into these here next time we can afford them. We've arrived in week 1 of the new season, and I will not be taking care of these things here. Gonna save these for the next episode. Just want to take a look at the roster with you and do a quick shuffle to make sure that everything's in place. We're starting with Jonah Williams at left tackle and Prince Tagovailoa behind him as the backup, Brian Allen as our left guard, Will Lampkin behind him. We covered that. Maurice Smith is the starting center. We've got Zach Tom behind him. We've got Emil Ekiyor Jr. at right guard. We already covered him last time with the backup of Logan Bruss, who is slowly but surely developing behind him. Sam Cosmi, the right tackle, and we've got David Schultz behind him. We will be revealing this. Don't think that we'll be giving David Schultz too much playtime this season, but you never know. Michael Myers starting tight end. We're gonna be putting Bryson Hopkins behind him and then Khalil Shakir. As for my wide receivers, I will be putting Tyquan Thornton as wide receiver 1, Cooper Kupp wide receiver 2. Then we will be putting Shorter as wide receiver 3. And Evan Jefferson will be moving all the way down behind Wandale Robinson, because I really think that we don't need to put him as high. He's my slot wide receiver, gonna be playing there as well. Halfback core consisting of Cam Akers, Karen Williams, and Isaiah Spiller. Quarterback is Tua and Bo Nix. The backup fullback is Breece Hall. Defense has been revamped a little bit. We've got Terrell Burgess here, Quentin Lake, and Brian Cook. So that's a solid free safety room. Right outside linebacker, Anthony Hines III. And then we've got, what's the first name? Rashard Blackburn. Right, gotta remember those names. Straight into the first team, of course, here with the number 54. It's Rashard Blackburn, backup for Anthony Hines. Ernest Jones, mid-linebacker, teaming up with Kenneth Murray Jr., a superb replacement for Bobby Wagner. Behind them, we've got Nick Bonito. And over here, Amari Barno, a player that we brought in via the free agency. Left outside linebacker, we've got Noah Sewell here, 23-year-old player out of Oregon, number 11th ranked right outside linebacker. Quite happy with him, to be honest. Behind him, also Amari Barno. He can also play that position. Let's see how things turn out. Maybe we will be adding a new player here. Jordan Fuller is a strong safety. We've got Antoine Brooks Jr. behind him, and then we've got Jordan Morant, who I could put into practice squad. We're going to be leaving him here for the moment. Cornerback room, Jalen Ramsey, Taylor Rapp, and Darion Kendrick. On the other side, David Long Jr. and Russ East. And at D-tackle, we're using Bobby Brown III, 23 years old, 77 overall. Behind him, Corey Dern. And then we do have Dion Baldwin, a rookie that we just picked up. Let's see how he does. Like having 3 D-tackles here, of course. At right edge, we're utilizing Aaron Donald. Who else but him? Behind him, we've got Taylor Batty. And at left edge, George Karlaftis, freshly brought in instead of Ashawn Robinson. And Kingsley Enagbari behind him as the backup. Special teams will be Matt Race and Tyler Bass, our new kicker. And on the specialists, we have Van Jefferson as a slot wide receiver, Cam Akers. Thinking of putting someone else in here, maybe Isaiah Spiller or Breece Hall as the power halfback. Let's let that sink in a little bit. What about practice squad? Just want to make sure that I'm not overseeing something here. Okay, no, I think we're good. And this is the team that we will be using in this new season. I think that we improved it quite well. We'll have to see how that pans out in real life. And I just wanted to show you something as one of the highlights of Madden, of course. Do you remember that we tried to offer a contract for Lamar Jackson? Alright, so he's with the Colts now, didn't accept our offer. And Lamar Jackson is playing for the grand total of $680,000 in this year. So that's that. Didn't accept our offer, but he took this one. Find that to be hilarious, but that's okay. I like the reshuffling of the squads, that players move around quite a bit, and not every quarterback sticks with his team for ages, or a player out of that. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be the wrap for the off-season episode. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I had a lot of fun rebuilding the team a little bit over this short period of time. If you did, please drop me a like and subscribe. That always helps me a lot. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.